Hello again, welcome all back to another session with me, Ciderphex, here in the cabin, and this is a special one. This is episode 100. We made it. Who would have thought? Who would have thought this crazy little journey would have made it to 100 sessions? I didn't really think it was going to get that far. But, you know, there's some sort of reason to do something different for this one, so I thought I'd put my face on the camera. I know you're used to seeing my face on the camera, but, you know, not really in this way. We'll have a quick Q&A before we get on with this 100th session. I wish I'd tell you I had time to have planned a great little set with all different kinds of, you know, favourites all lined up with banging double drops and everything. I haven't had time to do any of that. Trying to be a dad and work a full-time job and be a husband and all the rest of it. I haven't really got time for rehearsing anything. You know, this is all just a labour of love, this whole project. It's been like that from the beginning. Which kind of leads into the first question, really. We've had a few questions in from people. Some of these have come from the live stream. Some of these have been sent to me direct. So I appreciate all of those. But one question I always thought was quite funny, quite early on, I got one simply saying, Ciderphex, why? Which is a fair question. Why? Why the hell do I do this? What is wrong with me? Why have I got this ambition to sort of mix through so many tunes? To be quite honest with you, I think that, you know, you hit an age in life where you've got to sort of look at all the things that you've done and you've got to evaluate, you know, your reasoning for everything. I've been a big collector of music, drum and bass and jungle, pretty much since I started mixing. Got my first decks when I was, was I 15? And I fell in love with the music then, and I'd always picking up vinyl, and I just, you know, it was all like raves, and just collecting music was just part of the whole process of DJing, raving, and getting music. It was like a little holy trinity of things that kind of made up what was being into the scene. Not everyone was a DJ. Not everyone kind of collected music at that level, and you know, that's absolutely fine. Loads of people were just there for a rave, but I think to make it a kind of lifetime, love, I think you probably find yourself stepping into DJing, or at least collecting the music at some point or another, and that's really where it all began. Was just picking up music, and over the years, I mean, I think I got my decks in 2001, so we're in 2026 now. So 25 years ago, I've collected a heck of a lot of music in that time, and a lot of that music has come on vinyl, and a lot of it has come digitally. But I just think I realised just the amount of music I had about 5-6 years ago when I've never really bothered to check, but, you know, I have it all in one folder, and I was looking one day and I was like, Jesus Christ, there's 15,000 tunes in there roughly. And it was quite immense, and I just thought, you know, maybe something could be done with this, because at the end of the day I could carry on collecting this music until I'm dead, and all kind of what's it all been for, you know? I've enjoyed it. I like playing for it, but a lot of these tunes I don't play. I haven't played for a long time. A lot of them have been vinyl rips that I've done over the years, which I've then sold the vinyl of, and you know, many B-sides and things like that haven't been played. And I think that was really the kind of where the journey began, was an idea to say, well, can we put it all into one documented kind of stream of music? And that's really what the idea was about. It's kind of justifying a middle-aged man's, you know, collection of drum and bass and jungle, really. Something to leave behind, maybe once I'm gone, you know, if YouTube doesn't remove it. But it'll be there, and it's I don't necessarily care about how many people find it. It's great if they do. But even if one person can find some tunes that they're like, oh, that's cool, you know, I wouldn't have heard that tune before. That's kind of the goal for me anyway. I think there's a lot of music in here which has been forgotten. I've got thousands of tunes which I don't think you'll hear anywhere else. And you know, every tune I own is a tune that I've come across myself. I've never been one for just being given a hard drive by someone. You know, here's a USB pen with 1,000 tunes. That's just not me. Like I've got to have a connection to every single tune. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything to me. You can give me 100 tunes and tell me they're all bangers, but if you've given them to me, I almost don't want them. That's just me. Nothing wrong with doing that if that's your thing, but for me, I like to come across music my own way, and that means by listening to other people play music, by searching through, you know, music myself, There's lots of places that I do that, and there's a question later about that. But yeah, it's got to have that personal thing. You know, I've got to listen to that tune and think, yeah, I want that, and then I've got to add it. And then when it's in my collection, it feels like mine. And sometimes, you know, some of those tunes, you know, maybe I'll put them in a mix once and it doesn't really work, and it kind of falls away and I forget about it, and you know, gets lost in the other. Well, what I thought was 15,000. We'll cover that in a sec. But yeah, it gets lost in the rest of the library. Many of those tunes have just been buried for years. Some of them I used to play a lot back in the day and haven't played for years as well. And so yeah, that's basically what this journey's always been about. It's about exploring my own collection, justifying it, and giving something back. Trying to give someone else, you guys, you know, an opportunity to hear some music perhaps you haven't heard, and you probably won't hear many other people playing. So of course there's lots of other tunes you will hear, because we're going to play we'll play everything, don't we? You know, lots of bangers, lots of the big dance floor tunes from the time. We'll play everything, but there'll definitely be some tunes that you probably won't hear elsewhere. So hopefully, you know, someone will come across something new. So that's kind of the goal for that. But that leads into the next question, which I've had a few times, especially when I had to change the title of this whole event, which was originally mixing 15,000 tunes, and it became 7. And of course, understandably, a lot of people were asking what the hell. I did try and explain it at the time in various live streams as to why we went down to 7,000. But the reason for that literally was just my incompetence. I like I said, I keep all my music in one folder on my hard drive, and I just done a property check of the folder. There was around sort of 15,700 files. Some of those are folders, obviously, but I calculated there's around 15,000 individual tunes. What I didn't realise is that the folder was doubling everything. You know, so there was literally 2 copies of everything in there. I only worked that out later on, after I'd been mixing maybe 500 tunes. I started to think, this doesn't look right. Looking at my library, I was like, I shouldn't be making this much of a dent on it in only 500 tunes. So that's when I looked a little bit further and realised that I'd been a bit stupid. So to be honest with you, I haven't had time to count them all up. I've chucked all my tracks into Serato, which is what I should have done in the first place. Just chuck all of them into one folder, which can give you a list of how many are there. And it's around 7,000. But to be honest, there's certain tunes in there which aren't actually drum and bass and jungle. So it's an arbitrary figure, but it's a nice title, isn't it, guys? So let's be fair. It drags people in, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in, isn't it? It's dragging people in. That's what you've got to do sometimes, which kind of leads on to question 3 here, which is another one I've had a few times. Sorry about, I haven't dropped any names on some of these. I've got names for some, but some of these are just questions that came to me during live streams that I've just jotted down. But yeah, one question I get quite a lot is, what do I think about the current DnB scene? Do I still buy tunes? Do I still go to raves? It's difficult to make a proper analysis of the thing, because I'm not going to pretend that I'm, you know, big on the scene anymore. I don't really go to many raves. I live out of London now, on the outskirts. Getting in and out of London is hard. I do work there, but I work full time. I've got 2 kids, so I don't have much time for raves. I go occasionally, and I think I pick the kind of events that suit my kind of music and my kind of age group. Last year I went to Dillinger's Valve at the Fridge, well, sorry, what's called the Electric now, where he brought the Valve sound system out. I think that was the only rave I went to. But we had a great time. I didn't see many faces under 30, which I think says a lot, but it was a good time. The year before that, I think I went to the Metalheads festival in Brockwell Park, which I'll talk about later. I thought I had a good time though. And I've been to a few. I was at XOY quite a lot during Andy C's residency. But generally speaking, since my kids have been born, my kid's 7 now, my oldest, and in that time I haven't really done a lot of raves, if I'm honest. So it's not fair of me to make an assumption of it, but from the outside and from my experiences of going to the nights where the crowd have been a lot younger, should I say, I haven't particularly been very impressed, if I've got to be honest with you. The music is generally okay. I do think that the scene has hit a bit of a lull recently, which is what it does. I've been into this music for nearly 30 years, so I've seen these peaks and troughs, and I feel like it's in a bit of a trough at the moment. I feel like everyone's trying to sound the same. I think the kind of wobble, I guess, grime influence from maybe like Benny L has kind of hit the forefront, and I just think, I mean, I was having a listen the other day to some of their labels, which I've done for a little while, trying to pick out some of the new stuff, catch up with things like Hospital and Symmetry, CIA, you know, those sorts of labels, quite a lot of them. And it just, I'm not even joking, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed by just the amount of tunes that just sounded exactly the same. It all sounded like everyone trying to do Benny L. So I just think that was just very disappointing. I think that there are other things that I hate today with a lot of those, I want to call them mainstream, but labels that are on the fringe of the mainstream, that are trying to be the mainstream labels. And this is an attack on lots of them because they all do it. Like 31 Records, who I love Doc Scott, but it is another one that I just listened to and was like, what is the fuck is all this shit? And everything on there is like 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. Like I know why they're doing it. They're writing tunes because you want to appeal to Spotify and all that, which is perhaps the only way that you get any money these days for tunes. But you know, I'm a DJ and I don't want to mix a tune that's 3 minutes long. All right, it's just a waste of my time. I don't want to pay for a tune that's 3 minutes long. You know, a 3 minute long tune is a teaser. That's all it is. That can bring us on to modern mixing, which I'll talk a bit in a minute. It's not an attack on this, by the way. It's just my thoughts. But I feel like, and I know quite a few guys in the scene, and I know what it's like trying to break through now. If you're trying to get into some of the bigger labels, there's a real emphasis on. It's not just about what you produce. You got to produce the right sounds. You got to be presenting yourself on social media properly. You've got to be mixing the right things. You've got to be, you know, like sort of linking up and doing collabs with the right people. Basically, you just, it's a job, and you're being told this is what you got to do if you want to release on our label. And for me, that's bollocks. Like that, the scene, when it becomes that corporate and commercial, and this is being run by the guys that were the kind of innovators of soul and energy and originality and kind of basically everything anti what I'm saying there when they were young. But they're managing these labels in a way now that is it's a business, and that's all it really is. I think that's just a real shame. I think it shows in the music. I don't think it showed in the music a decade ago, but I think it's really starting to show now. It is to me anyway. But that's not to say there aren't like labels. There's, in every lull in the scene, there are always times labels and artists that are pushing against the norm and are doing things differently. Yeah, I think the jungle resurgence has come on since. Well, it was happening. It's always been there, and it's been kicking off in the sort of 2012, 13, 14, 15. But then by lockdown, I feel like that energy in the jungle scene has just pushed up. Or maybe it's just that I come across so much of it. But for me, that's where I feel the real kind of love and kind of original music is being made. Which is why a lot of the stuff I buy these days is kind of quite aiming heavy jungle. Because it's from the labels that I just know are doing the music for the love and not for the money. See, that's what I sort of feel about things. Like I said, I don't want to shit too much on a scene that I'm not a big part of in the rave scene, or I don't play out or anything like that. So I'm sure there are plenty of good nights if you've got your ear to the ground and you're doing the raves. Then no doubt you go to the right kind of nights. But you know, back in my day when I was raving all the time in London and other places, but you know, I lived in London, grew up in London, so it was easy. You know, you're sport for choice, especially in that time in the sort of early 2000s. But you know, there wasn't really a night of the week where I didn't have somewhere to go. You know, there's a lot of industry nights. I'm going to say the big up the nights like Swerve, Movement, Grace. You know, clubs like Herbal and Bar Rumba and The End. I mean, these are just amazing places. I mean, The End, I still think is the best club in the world for drum and bass and jungle. It will always be, to me, the place. Just that whole club was laid out with. I mean, I love the little Swerve bar room. I thought that was great too. But you know, the main room, come down the stairs. As soon as you get down the stairs, you just get that feeling, man. And you got that almost gladiatorial mixing area right with the ravers. You know, there's no elevation. All there was a panel dividing you and them, and it was circular, so you can go all the way around the desk. I mean, obviously the DJ was on one side, usually the MC on the other, so everyone knows the best side was the side with the DJ. So there was a little wall, you kind of walk past it, there's like these little half wall things. I used to go up against them. That was the place. But anyway, that's the point. The point is you could be right up there. And if you went to the front of the barrier, all there was a barrier here, DJ there. You could basically touch them, you know? And sometimes people did. I've seen some very high people do some very stupid things, trying to rewind their own tracks. I mean, yeah, that's not on. But the point is that you can't live that down when you turn up as a DJ there. You got to fucking smash that place out because everyone's right there in front of you. You can't be trying to hide away up in some booth out of the way, you know? And that's for me why the end was special, because it really set the men from the boys with mixing. And I was lucky enough to be in that time where, you know, a lot of the real legends of the scene was still very much just doing the circuit, you know. It was a normal weekend to come to a club on a Friday and a Saturday and even a Sunday where you would be seeing Zinc and DC, Friction, Hype, Manpiece Red, all the biggest names, and they'd often be on the same bill. Yeah, and that could be tied along with all the legends like Randall and Goldie and whoever else that you might regularly see these days, Doc Scott and Fabio and Groove Rider, Bailey, all the big DJs who are still amazing as well. But the Andy C's, I mean, Friction doesn't play much anymore, which is a real shame because he was a brilliant DJ. But and obviously Zinc moved out of the scene and went off to do his own thing and he got fucked off of it. Hype still around, but in the heyday, all those people were just, you know, unstoppable, right? And then, you know, Pendulum came along and I think things changed after that. I think that was like the first superstardom, because we'd had a big stars in the 90s with the kind of jungle scene, and that had kind of crashed a bit, and then the resurgence through Ram bringing it all back in the sort of early 2000s and making it big again. I think Pendulum, one of the first like super bands in drum and bass, and I think things did change after that, and that's when we hit our next lull, was probably by the end of the 2000s, 2008, I think, between 9-10, things started to lull a bit. But yeah, that's kind of where I was moving out. So I think that energy, to go back to what I was saying about modern raving, and I don't know, maybe the energy is still there, I just don't know it, but maybe it's different these days. But, you know, back then it was just exciting every time you went out. It was always huge. You knew that there was going to be amazing DJs there pretty much every night you went to. And being part of the music was hugely important. You know, as a DJ, you were going to record stores. You know, I was buying vinyl from 2001 through to about 2012 when I picked up Serato. And I would, you know, you'd be in record shops, Black Market, Sister Ray, Uptown Records as well, but mostly Black Market was the place on Diablo Street, and we were there. I was there a lot, and it was the sort of place, you know, you walk in one day, it's half empty, having a chat with DJ Fly, or Ray Keefe was in there at the end. Big up, is it DJ Pink? I think she used to have pink hair. I can't remember what her name is. I think she used to mix house, but she was always, I loved her. She was really, really sweet woman, and she was always like really good recommendations. Obviously Nicky Black at Market would be in there as well. But that's the thing, you walk in there, sometimes there's a couple of you, you're having a chat, playing some tunes. Other times you walk in, there's a fucking fellow raving there, you know, and like, I don't know, Groove Riders in there just mixing. Just be out of nowhere. It was just energy, and you could go in and you could sometimes pick up white labels or rare kind of tracks that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else. You know, sometimes there'd be dub plates for sale. If it was Nicky Blackmark, he might be selling off some dubs that he hadn't that he'd cut, and you know, you never really know what you're going to get. It was exciting. You know, you could feel part of this special thing. You got like almost an exclusive look into kind of hearing it, and then you were listening to the radio shows, you know, Cool FM, Rinse, Radio 1, Fabio and Groove Rider, Bailey on 1 Extra. It was all like this cycle of just being involved and learning, and then, you know, going to the raves was the place where you would actually hear these tunes come out, and then, you know, it was just so exciting, you know, waiting for tunes to come out. If you got hold of them early, it was a great feeling. And I just don't know if sort of that energy is there anymore. That vibe is part of the scene now. It's probably quite different. I know that there are still raves going on in London, but a lot of my favourite clubs have all gone. The End that I mentioned earlier recently got pulled down for the first time to make way for Flats, I think. It's been empty for probably over a decade. And they finally pulled it down, which is such a shame, but you know, there you go. But I've seen all my other favourite places, like Herbal's gone, and Barumba. I mean, the Fridge, as I said, there's never really been one of my favourite places, but that's still going as the Electric. Brixton's actually done alright, apart from Mass. Mass was a great club. I think that was sold off for reasons not to do with development, but because they hadn't really been paying their bill. I mean, that was a fucking shady club, but it was great. You know, drum and bass belongs in shady places. I mean, London Bridge is a good example. We lost all of like SE1, Crucifix Lane, which used to be called Jack's. That was gone. There was a great club they opened for a little while there called Cable, which was going to be one. It had everything, you know, there to be one of the best clubs, and unfortunately, TFL took it back because of the London Bridge developments. That's a real shame. SE1 was around. I never really liked SE1 that much. I didn't think it was it was a big venue, but it wasn't a very good one. Egg and the Scala, I think, is still there, maybe. I haven't really been up that way for a while. Camden Palace in the early days I used to go to a lot, then it became Coco, which is doesn't really do electronic music anymore, just for bands and stuff. And then obviously Bagley's and Turnmills, great clubs that have gone. Rhythm Factory gone. All the stuff in Vauxhall, that's all gone, like Area and Studio 33 or Hidden as it became, and all those places are gone. So yeah, it's a shame. East London seems to be the place now where everything is, which is fine, but it's always been properly the other side of things for me. My favourite club over there was Herbal back in the day. If you went to Herbal, it was a great little venue, but that's now a coffee shop, so fuck them. Yeah, so this has turned into a long one, isn't it? I think we've covered most things here about those sort of questions. I had another question here about what do I think of Spotify and all that. I think I mentioned all that. Do I mix vinyl? This is a question I get all the time because everyone sees me mixing turntables. You see me with Serato. Do I mix vinyl? Yes, I have vinyl. I have still about 2 crates worth of vinyl. But vinyl, as I mentioned before, you know, I started buying vinyl in 2001. I had a huge vinyl collection by the time I got Serato in 2012. I had about 10 boxes of vinyl, big ones, you know. I probably had about 1,000 plates. But it was never about vinyl specifically. I love turntables, yeah, 1210s. I love the feel of them. I love how they control the music. I've had CDJs in the past, never as a replacement, but just as an addition. There's a few times where I wanted to get CDJs because I was mixing out in clubs a bit, and there were CDJs. I thought I needed to learn them, so I got myself at the time the best Pioneer ones. I hated them, like Fisher Price shit. I just, you know, they do the job, I know, but they just don't interest me. I hate mixing on them. I just like that tactileness of being able to touch the vinyl and have that resistance, which you just don't get from a CDJ. You know, it's all and any kind of digital mixers. Everything just feels like a toy. I don't know why they just don't add resistance to the faders. You know, I want a bit of resistance on my pitch fader, but you know, that's just my feeling. So nothing against them. They do their job. You mix however you want, but for me, I like turntables, right? And I like the feel of vinyl. But the music itself, vinyl was just a method to be able to play music, and it always was that. I was never, you know, I like collecting stuff. You can probably see I got loads of stuff. I'm not going to show you, but I got loads of stuff collecting here. But vinyl was always something that it was just a method to play music, and I used to obviously batter my vinyl, do loads of parties. I used to hate lugging vinyl around. It was just getting fucked and stuff. So when Serato came around, it was literally, for me, it was the perfect solution, because it was like you get to still keep using turntables, but you don't have to lug vinyl around. So I'm quite meticulous and obsessive, as you can probably tell. So for me, my mission just simply became, I need to digitize all my vinyl. So everything that I couldn't get hold of digitally, I just ripped, and I then sold all my vinyl at a terrible price. I mean, I sold it all on eBay as a job lot for about 1,200 quid for about 1,000 plates. So yeah, it was a shit deal, because vinyl was worth a lot more now. But at the time, it was good money. I was able to upgrade my Serato. I got the SL3 rather than the SL1, which allowed for 3 decks, which has come in handy at times. I do mix with 3 decks sometimes, but anyway, that's kind of the thing with vinyl. So it's not, I like the idea of it. I'm perfectly capable of doing it, but it's a pain in the arse, and because it's lugging it around and all the rest of it. the other thing I like about digital, which is amazing, is cue points. You know, I'm a very, as I said, meticulous guy. Whenever I get a new tune, you know, I told you about the journey for me finding a tune. It's always a personal mission. You know, I find something, it's got to mean something to me. I get hold of it. But once I actually download it, I have a little session where I will put all my music into Serato, and that will mean cue pointing everything and making sure everything has got its key right. And yeah, I'm quite anal with naming convention as well. When you got this many tunes, you have to, you know, I'll always add the label catalogue numbers and make sure the track and artist is right. You know, I'm quite anal, but once it's in, it's done, and then it's done forever, you know? And that's why I like digital music, because then that's why I could do something like this. I'd never be able to do this with vinyl, never be able to mix this many tunes on vinyl without them just clamming all over the place, because, you know, you got to know your vinyl, man. I mean, I can read the lines on vinyl, but there's no way you're going to remember that this track's got you know, a half bar or an extra or an extra 4/4 beat in there. You're not going to know that, so you're just going to clam it up, yeah. So that's what's great about cue points and everything. Once they're set for life. So that's why I like digital, and I like the crossover, the hybrid between mixing in an analog way with digital music. So yeah, do I still mix vinyl? Yeah, I've got some down here, and to be honest with you, the reason I still buy vinyl is because sometimes with a lot of the labels that I follow, they only do vinyl releases. You know, you've heard me talk about labels like Scientific Wax and lots of other. There's lots of other labels out there that are doing vinyl only, and I like that. I kind of like that they're still exclusive. I get annoyed that I have to actually spend the money because I don't want to spend like fucking 15 quid for a vinyl, but I do it sometimes, and I quite appreciate that those tunes don't get released digitally, because it's kind of like an exclusive thing, especially in today's world where there's so little that is exclusive. That you can kind of have a thing that someone else can't have, you know. It separates you from them, you know. You put the effort and you've got hold of it. I like that. I think that goes back to the original days of sound systems and sound clashes, which is all, you know, it's a very much the energy of jungle, you know, in the early days. It was all about having tunes that someone else hasn't got. So I think it's good that still goes on. And I tend to just get hold of those vinyls and instantly rip them and then never play them again. And then, who knows, might sell them off in the future. But they're all on my Serato in Serato, so that's why you don't actually see me play vinyl. It's because I've always ripped them. That's what I do straight away. Alright, anyway, let's move on. Got a question from Nikos Lyrus, who was like, does the lack of support ever drag you down or unmotivate you? I'm human, so yeah, it'd be nice to have more people kind of watching and liking and commenting. I mean, but at the same time, I'll be honest, genuinely honest with you, I don't give a fuck. I know that sounds like what a lot of people would say, but I mean, I give enough of a fuck to care that it would be nice to have it, but not having it doesn't make me want to stop. I do it, all the things I do in life for me, because I want to do it and I enjoy it. If I cared more, I would make more of an effort with these. I'd be doing, like, I don't know, making shorts and overloading this with fucking advertising, trying to just push it on other socials. I could go on Twitch and God knows wherever else. There's all things I know I could do to make this more popular, but I'm just lazy and I can't be bothered. This is all about coming in when I've got no time, and just coming in and mixing, you know. I'm a busy man, I've got a family and kids and work and that. I just want to come home, start the live stream, start mixing, yeah. If people join, fantastic, and all the contributions make all the difference, and I love it. But at the same time, if no one joins and I do it for myself, well, you know, I was going to have a mix anyway. So, you know, it's a document that's there forever. These don't have to end now. You know, the algorithm, who knows, one day maybe it will push it. But, you know, with more success comes more pressure and probably hate and all the rest of it. So maybe keeping it low key is better. You know, I'd rather just do it for myself and those who enjoy it. So yeah, no, don't worry about me being unmotivated and stopping. I think there was one point during this where I did have a little whinge at the end of a mix and said that I was not feeling like I wanted to do it anymore. But that was actually more to do with personal shit that was going on at the time, rather than you know, the lack of support from anyone here. It was just I was a bit stressed with stuff. But it only lasted a few days, and then I thought, oh no, fuck that, I quite enjoyed doing this, so I was back. What else have we got here? I've heard you're a bit of a techno DJ as well as jungle and DnB. Are there any other genres you mix or just like listening to? And that's from 25 Bradley. Big up Mr. 25 Bradley, aka Brad. I don't know if you like being called Brad, by the way. I'm sorry if you prefer to be called Bradley. but I always call you Brad. This guy's been here, following me from pretty much the beginning, you know, and so big up to him, massive big up to him, and Bryn, who often joins in on the same sort of streams. But yeah, lovely guy, and thank you very much for everything. I really appreciate your support the whole time. It really does mean a lot. To answer your question, yeah, I do have some other genres that I mix, but I mean, drum and bass jungle, hardcore is my thing. I wouldn't say I'm massive into the early hardcore, but I have quite a lot of it, and I enjoy it. So I can't think that you can enjoy jungle without an appreciation for the hardcore. But I also quite like techno, some house. I actually quite like mixing disco, believe it or not. I think that's quite fun. The old 70s disco stuff. I mean, not like the originals, but I quite like some of the, you know, 4/4 remixes. I've done that a few times at weddings or whatever. That's quite a laugh. Just to fuck around with, you know. It's just, you know, watch a load of white people do it, old man grooving. But yeah, I've a lot of the time it's people who have come over. I've done so many parties, and you know, so many raves where people have just come over with their USB pens, chucked them in, and they'll dump it in my Serato, and I'll create them a folder, and then it just gets dumped in there. It's like all their music they brought to mix. So I sort of accumulate all these different genres of music. I mean, I don't consider them my music. They're not. They're just other people's. A lot of the time I delete it, but some of my good friends, who I like, you know, I sometimes do keep their music on there, and sometimes I do have a little session, and a lot of that's techno. But yeah, I'm into quite a lot of other music, alternative music as well. I really like, you know, some of the electronic artists like Aphex Twin, Square Push, you know, all those kind of classical, kind of left field, un-genre definable kind of artists that kind of make up, I guess that kind of 100 to 140 sort of BPM type stuff. Usually quite unmixable, definitely unmixable in a drum and bass session, but you know, I do pick up a lot of stuff, and I listen to a lot of those people like Aphex Twin. I listen to a lot of his sessions, and I often pick up a lot of music that he plays because I like it. I wouldn't necessarily have to tell you all those artists, but yeah, there's quite a bit that I have on here that I enjoy. But yeah, techno is probably the thing that I would say I like the most, but I don't really DJ it. I sometimes do have a little crack now and again, but I enjoy it, but I get bored. I find that I can mix drum and bass for hours and it's fine, but if I mix techno for more than sort of half an hour, I start to get a little bit bored by it. So, but I can listen to it. I enjoy listening to it. So anyway, big up to you. What else have we got? Who are your favourite producers? That was also from Bradley from a while ago. I'm going to be a bit quick on this one. There are loads of people that I love. I mean, I could say for many different reasons, but I'm just going to list a couple. Seba, I'd say, is one of my favourite producers, possibly my favourite producer. If someone said you have to pick one, I think Seba is just a really, really cool producer. I think that he's one of the most unique and kind of interesting producers out there, and I think he's no one can do bass like Seba, and obviously Paradox together, they're a wonderful combo. I know a lot of love for Paradox as well, but you know, Paradox sometimes his tunes, I love drum funk, but sometimes drum funk can sound a bit too similar a lot of the time. You know, you won't want to mix 2 or 3 in a row, whereas Seba, I could do a whole fucking session, and I've done it. You can check out my channel. It's actually my most successful video I've ever posted about 7 years ago. It's about 50,000 views. 2 hours of Seba, because the guy is just, you know, he's capable of doing the full spectrum of drum and bass, and he gets the analog resounds, and it's just, I love it, man. So yeah, Seba's the guy. I think Dillinger is incredible as well. Obviously with Dillinger, you know, he hit that point, didn't he, in the sort of mid 2000s where it all started to get a little bit too, I don't know, I'm going to quote him, it came a little bit shit cunt, which is his own quote for certain people's music. He just started making shit cunt music, and I just think that it started to go a bit downhill, and then he kind of stopped. Fair play to him. I think he decided, fuck this, and he just stopped for a long time. Hasn't really started again, to be fair. But I love him, and he's you know, he's almost drum and bass's pin-up boy. He should be. He has to be in the sort of top 5 most important people in drum and bass, and everything pre sort of 2006 6-ish, I think is great time for Dillinger. So big up to him. Caliber as well. I'm not gonna and Marcus Intellect, R.I.P. Two legends that I absolutely love and still continue to love. Another person would be Spirit. You know, R.I.P. Duncan, man. This guy was such a nice dude, and it's just, man, he's just such a fucking good producer. You know, he was renowned for making a certain type of sound, but I think that around the time of his death, a few years before, he was really starting to just show just how, because you know he's been around since the beginning as well, and a lot of the stuff he was releasing in the early days on Timeless and stuff was very dynamic jungle, but you know, he fell into the kind of metalhead sound and was doing that for his whole time, which I love. But at the end, I think we were starting to see a real kind of push towards some other kind of electronically influenced music from other genres. I think was brilliant. So it was so sad. I actually felt like crying when I found out he'd gone, because he was a legend. Another person is Heist. I like Heist because he just doesn't give a fuck. He does what he wants. He clearly likes his wobble and his jump up. I'm not massive into wobbly jump up stuff. I love jump up, the good jump up, what I would call good jump up, but that sort of I don't know, a lot of that kind of middle of the road stuff isn't for me. And Heist does like his own label Collab and what other names, Low Down Deep, all those kind of labels that he releases on. It's not really my kind of thing, and he does a lot of his music on there, and it's not really my kind of thing. But what I know is that I've never known anyone who can so easily pull out what I would consider to be a masterpiece out of nowhere, and he does it all the time. Everything he releases on Metalheads is fantastic, and he's perfectly capable of, and even on his own label sometimes out of the blue he'll just do a beautiful kind of track. So and you know, he was the engineer behind Roughage Crew's Malice in Wonderland, for example. He's just a brilliant producer, and I really like him. He's a nice guy. So that's Heist. Loxy as well. I love Loxy. I love what he's done. He's another fundamentally important person in the scene for kind of taking drum and bass on another journey. What he's done, he's moved inside the sort of dark renegade sound and moved into what he's done with resound and all that kind of almost drumless dark stuff is brilliant. I think it's pushed drum and bass in a new direction, and I love that. That's what it's all about. Goldie, I mean, you know, is obviously, I know he's a divisive character sometimes, but I think he's incredible, and I know he doesn't write his own music, but he certainly does it. You know, all the producers he's worked with, you know, those individual producers on their own, apart from maybe Heist, I don't think they're making a Goldie track unless Goldie's there, okay? So that's what I'd say about the criticism that Goldie gets, is that you ask any of those producers to make that track without him there, that shows you the influence he does have, and I think the music's great. D-Bridge as well is another amazing person who, similar to Loxy, I think has just given so much and done so much to push the scene. There's lots of other people like that too. One last name I'm going to mention, which is more my own little thing, is Nico. Okay, now this guy, a lot of you may not know. Nico was the kind of the guy fundamentally behind No U-Turn, which is one of my favourite eras. Again, very divisive era because it's so fucking dark. But I absolutely love the late 90s underground drum and bass. Kind of what got me into it, the really dark stuff I used to listen to on Rinse when I was growing up in school. And yeah, Nico, I'm going to give him the credit over most of the other people that are producing those tracks like Trace and Ed Rush and Optical and Fierce, because I feel like, as much as I love all those guys and what they went on to do in various ways, I feel like Nico must have been the gel at that time to kind of, because everything that was coming out of No U-Turn was just so incredibly dark and sinister and special in its own way. You know, I don't feel like anyone's ever made a label that's managed to capture that darkness in a way that is so organic and not, it doesn't feel forced, doesn't feel fake, it doesn't feel like it's just fucking dark. I don't care who you are, you know. So yeah, big up to Nico. Another nice dude. I met him one time, I had a chat. I think he was quite impressed that I actually recognised him, but there you go. A little shout out to Cywax as well. Nico, Nebula, Equinox, Beaky, Dub One. Again, acquired taste, that kind of music, but I really like those guys and everything they do, and big up to them for just staying original, doing their own thing. And also DJ Stretch and Akko and Double O at Rupture, and anyone doing that kind of jungle sound, especially the guys that were there trying to bring it back from sort of 2012 to where we are now. I mean, everyone's doing it now, but there was a time when it wasn't popular and those guys really just stuck at it. So big up to all them. Right, what else we got here? See if we've got any questions on the live. I'm just going to pop in here. Oh, we've got quite a few questions. Oh, big up everyone. I don't know why I'm not getting the live chat. Macca365. Yeah, like a bit cheeky disco. Yeah, well, you know, it can be fun. There's no originality in DnB tracks. Yes, I 100% agree. I've already covered that. They all sound the same. Yes, they fucking do. That's exactly what I was saying earlier, mate. That's kind of what I mean. I don't know. It's a real shame, isn't it? That I had a little listen the other day, and I was just like, everything sounds the same. You know, everyone's just trying to sound like Benny L. I mean, like I said, if you know where to look, there is originality, but it is few and far between. It's a shame. It is a shame that it's kind of ruining the scene like that, I think. Right, we're going to ask a couple more, and I promise you we'll get on with our session. But I did promise we'd do this. What haven't I said? Yeah. Anything else? Oh, yeah, here's one. How do I know when to cut tunes or know where the drops are? I guess that was a comment that's coming from someone who doesn't mix with vinyl or Serato, probably only uses modern mixing materials, which is, I kind of gets us onto this. I'll cover this a little bit quickly. I'm not going to be the old man that shouts at clouds. It's not my thing, you know. Like, you know, if you've learnt to mix your way, fucking good for you. I do feel like young people should have their own thing, yeah. And obviously, I'm going to feel like the way I do things and the way we did things is the best, but that doesn't mean that, you know, like the fact that I don't like what you do is probably a good thing for you. Yeah, good on you, because it means you're doing your own thing and you don't need my age group to say it. But to answer your question first, how do I know? Well, I can read the waveform just like I used to read the vinyl back in the day. Obviously, I have key points in my tracks, which gives me the, you know, like if something's got a 16 bar intro, I'll put a key point on the 8th bar. So and I'll say 1, so I know that, you know, there's 2 8s before it drops. But in terms of just looking at the tune, I can see, okay, well, you know, coming up on this bit of the waveform is silence, or not silence, but there's obviously a sound effect or something, so I might just cut that bit and drop the other track. And, you know, I don't know them, I'm just feeling it, you know. Sometimes it doesn't work, but, you know, usually it does. You get a flow for it. So I can kind of look at a waveform and know when's a good point to drop something in. It's just maths. Mixing is math, or it always used to be math. I don't know if it still is, but it always used to be math, yeah? Like looking at the lines on the vinyl, looking at the waveform, and calculating this is going to be 2 16s until that point, and my intro is 1 16 or whatever, so I'll wait to that point before I bring it in. Then it will drop there. If I'm going to double drop, then I need to leave this point. You know what I mean? It's just math. It literally is just constant math in your head. It was a lot harder with vinyl. So, you know, and I still think those who are, I mean, I can mix vinyl, but anyone who's, I think vinyl was a bit more, you know, knowing, you've got to know your tunes a bit better, you know. I wouldn't want to just pick up 50 plates I've never played and just go live stream with them, because it'll probably end up being Clang City. Whereas at least with, you know, some key points already there, it's a bit easier, right? So that's my thought. And what do I think about modern mixing? Well, I just feel like, I mean, I don't beat sync. I mean, I have Serato, I could beat sync, but I just think, what's the fucking point? I hate beat syncing. I just think it's lost the energy. I just think it's not. I don't mind if I go a little bit out. I also don't want to clang it out, but, you know, if it's a little bit off at the beginning when I bring it in, fine. You know, that's organic, man. It's human. It kind of, it makes things, I think you become too processed with mixing now. When I listen to it, a lot of DJs, it just feels, yeah, fine, you drop, cut, but that's not your mixing, you're just cutting, and it's just like, you know, you're just lining up things so easy. You nowadays you can auto sample, so you can sample a 16 bar loop and just fucking play into that and then drop it, and, you know, when it's done well, fantastic, you know, but it doesn't feel organic, it feels rehearsed. And even if it's not rehearsed, it looks rehearsed, because it's just so quick and it's so I don't know, it just looks wrong. And like, there's nothing wrong with a rehearsed mix when it's banging. You know, great, if you're going to play a festival, you should rehearse it, you should turn up and play something banging, but you always need to have the ability to switch the vibe and go with the audience. You know, if the audience hates what you're playing, well, then you've got to fucking switch it up. And there's nothing worse than a DJ who's sticking religiously to a set when no one's enjoying it, yeah? So I think that's something that's lost, and I love the organic mixing of people like Groove Rider and Fabio, and especially Bailey. I fucking love Bailey, you know, he's my hero. people who just understand how to take on you on a journey, like Bookham as well. So I'm a great DJ for that. Just go on a journey and kind of explore the music together. I think that's lost. No, I don't know anyone who mixes like that these days. I mean, like I said, I don't go to many raves anymore, so maybe there are. But a lot of the kids I hear play, it's always just like bang, wobble, 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 the next one. And there's always been that. There's always been the jump up crowd doing that. But that feels like that's all anyone's doing now. Certainly that's what all the tunes sound like anyway. So yeah, that's my thought. And I don't know, is there a bit of me that's like with AI now? I mean, why are you even there? Let's just let AI do it, because the way you're mixing, yeah, I swear to God, AI sooner or later will be able to do it better than you. And then it's a case of like, fuck the DJ, let's just have some mad visuals on the wall and also run by AI, and then just have a fucking machine that just plays the bangers that this club night's about in a way that's new. Because that's what it's going to be. I mean, I'm not saying I can do it better, but at least if I'm turning up and doing my thing, it's probably it's a bit different. Certainly it's different to what everyone else is doing now anyway, because no one mixes like an old fossil anymore. So yeah, I'd rather always hear someone doing it for real, in my opinion. But there you go. And I don't like beat syncing. I think what's the point? Alright, so I think that's everything. One question here, again from Brad actually, was who do you think are the best up and coming artists? Again, I don't really follow the scene as like I used to. Two people I've noticed recently is in the jungle scene anyways, is a geezer called Fez the Kid. Fez the Kid. Like Fez the Hat. Fez the Kid. This guy makes a fucking sick jungle, okay? Absolutely sick. So big up to him. Unglued is the only guy. I used to not like Hospital back in the day. Well, I don't know, I did not like it, but it was alright. There's a lot of stuff I didn't really get down with, and I lost interest in them for a while, but I feel like 5-6 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, they started to become the only old school mainstream label that was actually doing anything good, you know? Ram fell away after the heyday in the 2000s. As soon as Andy C started doing festivals, Ram just became, in my opinion, shit. Shogun fell apart under friction after a while, and Metalheads, to be fair, has stayed true, pretty good, and even now they're still doing good stuff, but it's not as good as it was. But yeah, anyway, Hospital, for a while, with like Spy and everyone that was coming, I was thinking, do you know what, like, that's becoming the new label that I'm actually going to go to when I want to hear what's good on the mainstream. But yeah, recently went there and was like, absolute shite. Everything sounded exactly the fucking same, all just sounded like Benny L. And I was like, nah, it's just like 100 of the same tunes. Except for this geezer Unglued, who I picked up a few tunes before, and I thought, okay, this seems to be the only guy that's actually trying to do anything different. And the funny thing was, I think they'd actually started to label his tunes as like something like time loop or something. Basically saying, here's music for old people. And I was like, well, it's appealing to me, so I guess it's done its job. But yeah, that says it all, really. Other than that, I think Derek and Tonica were coming through. I list some names when I was really last ear to the ground with the scene that were starting to excite me. People like Derek and Tonica, Forest Drive West, Adred, Sattel, Row Pieces, Frisk and Survey, Quartz. Those are all sick people. They've all been around for quite a long time now, but they were all doing... Response. Oh, fucking hell. Response and Pliskin are just sick. I love what they do. Phil Tangent is another guy. I mean, he's been around for ages, but it was always good. Sort of fallen off recently. I listened to his stuff. I was like, nah, you're just trying to do the thing, man. You're trying to make it work in a commercial way, and nah, I'm not into it. Ricky Force was really another great guy. Killjoy and Tim Clay on Function Digital's label. I think those guys are good. Bungle, who's been around for fucking donkey's years, but I absolutely love what he's done in the last sort of decade with his kind of move away from the Marky and Bungle kind of. Not there's anything wrong with that, but inner ground, a liquid thing. But what he's done with some of his music is so good. So yeah, those are some names. But yeah, so that's probably it. Well, I think we'll get on with our session now. I was going to read out a few shouts. Merry Christmas, bud. Keep up the beats. From Barris XOXO. Thank you, Barris XOXO. You've been a real big supporter as well, especially recently. I really appreciate it. Thank you, mate. Nice challenge to practice for beginners. Average day for pros. From CPP Developer. I don't know if you're trying to say I'm the beginner or I'm the pro, but thank you. If it was the latter, I won't call myself a pro, but... it's definitely fun doing this journey, yeah. Bro, you're doing the Lord's work. Been listening to these mixes with my friends after parties all the time. It always sets our vibe. And that was from L. Ron Hoy, Abby Memby 5736. You're a legend as well, mate. Thank you very much. Those are the kind of messages that are lovely to get. You know, it really means a lot when someone says something like that. So thank you very much. I'll just check the live stream again, and then we'll get on with this. I don't know if I'm missing any comments. It's hard to tell. All right. Do you know what? Let's get on with this session. I'm not sure I'm going to switch this live. You're going to have to bear with me, but we'll try and do it. Give me a sec. I've actually timed this perfectly, so I think that mix is about to end. Absolutely perfectly timed. Of course, that was 100% intentional. Alright, we're going to bring it to a close on this mix, and, well, not this mix, this pre-mix that I'd saved on here, and we will move on and do some proper one. So bear with us. Yeah, big up to everyone still in around. It was a very long ramble from me. For nearly, well, I don't know, it was close to half an hour, wasn't it? A good old ramble. But I enjoyed it. If you want to check into my thoughts on everything, you can listen back. Or you can skip to now. But thanks for being here. Let's have a party.
hope you're feeling alright, alright, alright.
twist them out, didn't you? Another one of those, right, let's be first, another one of those, bit like pendulums, one of those who've got dropped there all the time, everywhere you go. You lose interest in it very quick, but you know, it's still quite fun. Before that was another pendulum track, Voyager, which was the B-side of Another Planet. I think no one ever played it. It's a great track though. I think it's better than Another Planet for sure. What a tune, what a remix from the remix master break. High Times, L-Side and Fats, big up Fats, I love Fats, RIP, what a legend. So big out to all the commenters. I really appreciate it. I haven't got the chat stream open on my phone, but I can see all the comments. And I will of course check them at the end. I can see they're all coming through. Really means a lot. Thank you all. I hate to say this, I've got to wrap up soon because I asked my wife if I could do 2 hours on a little live session. She got the kids, so I've got to go and help out really. I can see we've lost the Dex camera. Standard. This phone is so fucked that I'm using on the ceiling. Oh my god, if you could see how bad that camera is, you'd be laughing. Yeah, it hasn't even got a screen anymore. I just know the button combination, or I know where to press the screen to get the camera up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Forget it. Yo, big up to the easy DJ. Big up, yeah, you know the feel. You know the score, man. Right, we ain't got long, but I'm going to finish off with a bit of jungle, couple of tracks. Let's just fucking smash some rhythms. Yes, big up to everyone who's been in there today. I really appreciate it. But I do have to shut it down. I'm having a really good time. I'm loving this mix, but there we go. I think we've done justice to 100 anyway. I feel like that was a good mix. You know, as always, I can't ever rehearse, practice anything. Defeats the purpose of the journey. But I've had a good time. I hope you have too. Thank you all for the Q&A earlier. Anyone who sent in any messages, big up to you. What a tune! Dub line at Omen Breaks, the Jungle Cat boys. Jungle Cat, Sata Sounds, Tough Records. We're still underground. Vinyl only jungle, but you know, it's bad boy business. Anyway, I've had a great time. I'll catch you all again for episode 101. Let's do another 100, yeah? It's going to be at least another 100, if not more. I hope to have you all along with me for the journey. Peace out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to check out any of my old mixes, just check out my page. Hit the live stream, look under mixing every tune. You'll find everything there. You can find any tune if you're listening audio only. Watch the video because you can see all the tunes in my Serato window if you want to know what they are. And here's to another 100. See you all next time. Take care. Love. Peace out.
Why kill them again? Listen.